So I'm going to take you through some editing using Premiere. So as you can see, I'm using a Mac. You will be too. Hopefully we've got the Mac suite. So I'm just going to open Premiere, and you can usually find it relatively easily on the Macs at college. I'm going to select New Project, and I'm going to call it Wildlife Conflict Video. And then I'm not going to pay any attention to any of this because I don't need to explain that to you right now. It's not important at this stage. Press OK. Then it's going to open and I'll get the full interface of Premiere. So as you can see, there's various areas here, various sections. You're not really going to be looking too much into it. You need to know this area because this is where your sequence, your timeline will be, and this is where you're going to be importing your media. So that's basically where all your files will be, where you have access to them. And up here, as you can see, effect controls is selected. This is where I'm going to be controlling any effects, or let's say the scale of my video if I need to adjust it. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to import my media. There's a couple of ways of doing that. There's quite a few ways actually. So if I want to, I can just press Command I and then I can find it this way. I know where it is. It's on my desktop within a folder, or I can just go to File, Import, and then I get the same window pop up, or I can drag it in, which I'm not going to do today. So I'm going to find my folder. Okay, so editing, vids, everything's in here, import. So you need to make sure that all of your videos from your SD card are saved into a folder, preferably on your desktop or some sort of storage device, because those files will not stay on that SD card. So as you can see here, now I have all of my videos which I downloaded earlier. These are all stock. Remember, you filmed your own footage, so you don't need stock, although you might want to use some stock as well. So as you can see, if I double click, the video turns up here, and if I want, I can play it. And here where it says mark in, I can do just that. I can mark in, press play, and say I only want that much of the video. I can mark out. So now you can see only a very small segment of the videos being selected, and you can shortcut that just by pressing I and O. So now I can just drag that down here, and now you can see it's created a timeline for me. If I press play, you can see my clip there, and you can see it playing here. Okay, so I then can just literally go through each of my clips and just carry on transferring the segment of the video I want onto the timeline. So here, I'm going to save this one for the end actually, so I'm just going to move on. One thing you can do to make life a bit easier, if you want to, you can edit to sound. So my sound file is here. I downloaded it earlier, so I'm going to show you that. Don't worry, you will get some sound if you need it. As you can see, the A tracks are the audio tracks, and the V tracks are the video tracks, and you can add as many tracks as you want to. However, you probably won't need to add in any at this point because you're just doing something very, very basic. So now you can see that if I press play, I've got two clips on my timeline that I've taken from my library here. If I want to zoom in a bit, so for example, I can't really see these clips properly, so I can click down here and just pull that one in, and you can see the clips then are bigger. Okay, so it expands that for you. And if I double click on the tracks, then it allows me to preview more. This is obviously the audio file, so you can see the sound waves, and I can just zoom in as much as I want to. I'm not going to be using all this today. So if I press the space bar, play, okay, so you can just see I'm just building up some sort of, not necessarily narrative, I'm placing clips next to each other. That's all I'm doing. So what else do I have here? So I've got gorilla. What's this? Okay, so I think I'm going to start with that one because it's a close-up. It's quite effective. Oh, you can do this as well. You see I've just dragged straight from the library onto my timeline. I've just dragged straight in, so I didn't bother marking in and out. Now you can do that if you want to, but it can just make things a bit messy. So I'm placing that there. If I want to shorten or lengthen my clip, all I have to do is click and drag in. That's it. I can also use the razor tool. These are your tools here, and you're really not going to be using many of them. If I want to use razor tool, click on that one and I can cut my clip like so. If I want to select anything, then I use the selection tool, and as you can see it does give you the shortcuts as well. For the selection tool it's V, so there you go. And if I want to expand that again, I can just drag it out. So it's pretty straightforward and pretty easy to use. In order to move the clips around, you click and you drag. That's it. Click, drag, and then release. Okay, so if I quickly go through what I've added, so cuts that I've done, literally just standard cuts because I'm just placing clips together next to each other. You are going to be doing a bit more than me because you've got the footage. I don't have the footage to do that. Whereas you, obviously, you filmed with the intent to edit. So for example, the shot reverse shot, you will have the shots where you can edit them together, whereas I've only got, as you can see here, bog standard stock videos, clips that don't necessarily have any connection to each other. The only connection they have is the one that I'm forcing, and that's the sort of narrative that I've built just by placing them next to each other. And as you can see here on my timeline, I have dip to black. Now this is a transition, so I'm going to show you how to do that here on the top right hand side of your Premiere window. You can see effects. If you can't see effects anywhere, you can do a couple of things. You can go to window, go to workspaces and click on editing if it's not on editing. There are quite a few of these that are very similar, but just click on editing. Then I want you, as you can see here, effects is ticked. So and effect controls. So if it's not ticked, make sure you tick that, and then you should be able to see them somewhere on your interface. So then don't worry about the rest of them, because there's lots and lots to obviously go through, which I won't do that today. But we're not even going to look at video effects because it's a whole world to get lost in. Video transitions, that's all we want. Dissolve. You can have a look at all these if you want to. I mean, they're quite self-explanatory. Zoom, wipe, slide. But anyway, you just open the folder and dip to black is here. So I'm going to click that and I'm going to drag it down onto my clip. And as you can see now, there's a dip to black in between that clip. I don't want that there. I wanted it at the beginning. Obviously, it's up to you where you put yours. You can't see it properly because my Mac the playback's quite slow today, and I haven't rendered. Mind you, it's telling me I don't need to, so it should be playing. Yeah, there you go. And then here at the end, I have another one. There's more transitions here, so I've used a cross dissolve, which is also in the dissolve folder, which is here. So I haven't overdone it with the transitions, and to be honest, you don't need to, because it can look really, really cheesy and silly when you overload your film or short, whatever it is you're doing, with transitions and fades, and yeah, it just doesn't look right. So I would use them sparingly and just show that you understand what their purpose is and how they're used effectively. So that's it. So that's all I need to show you how to do, really. The only other thing I'll say is, if, say, for example, your clip is not filling the frame, or you want to zoom in a bit on your clip, so you can click on, make sure that your clip is selected, so you just literally select it that way, just click on it, and then make sure you go to effect controls up here. Again, if you can't see it, go to window and click on effect controls, and then you can just play around with the scale like so. So it's pretty easy to do, and then you're done. That's all you need to know. If you want stock videos, then you can go to Pixabay and Pexels. So there, see, I downloaded these earlier. Excuse all of these tabs that are open. So animals, I just went to, this is what it looks like. Pexels, animals. So it's saying images and pictures here. Well, I want videos, so I'm going to click on videos, and then as you can see, you probably recognize this one from the video and a few others. I prefer Pixabay, but it's all royalty free, so you can literally use this even commercially. So there are two really good sites. And for your audio, you can go to Ben Sound. The audio tracks that have purchase on it, obviously you can't use, but any that say download you can use. And obviously you've got your search filtering here.